Coffee and Pan Dulce. How's that? Coffee and Pan Dulce.
Barb Bacon, and I'm a community advocate here in South Charlotte. If I had my buttons on today, it would be, let's get some gun control. I'm tired of looking at the news and seeing this. Black Lives Matter in honor of our friend Joel. And let's have equal rights for everybody.
This is Jenny James Gunn. I am a community advocate here in Charlotte, North Carolina for LGBT women's rights with the National Organization for Women, gun sense laws with Moms and Men Action, and anything that extends equity to all. Thank you.
I'm Christian Cano, you're the co-host. My buttons are Moms Men Action, Gun Sense Legislation, Healthcare for All, Medicare for All, and also in my heart, Black Lives Matter on behalf of Joe Oldham, who's a guest of ours who passed away last year. That's it.
Good morning, everybody. It is February already, so if you're seeing this on your podcast platform or Facebook, it is February 7th is when this show will drop. This is Coffee and Pan Dulce with, we've got a interesting topic today. We'll get into that momentarily, but we have a couple special guests and returning guests actually now, officially, and so we're going to talk about all things vax and maybe touch on the subject of anti-vaxxers being mentally ill, which is a great clickbait title. Yes. And we'll break down the ins and outs of all things vaccine related. But I am Jenny Gunn, one of the co-hosts of Coffee, and take it away, Christian.
Yes, as Jenny said, good morning, everyone. It's hard to believe and I know we've said this, this year is going to go by incredibly fast. It's already February the 7th when you watch this, when this show drops. It'll be Valentine's Day soon. We're in the middle of Black History Month, so we'll be talking about some of those things as our shows go in the month of February. But more importantly, if you, it is to me, and interesting what you guys have to say, this is one of the most challenging times of year because football is over. And basketball Final Four and everything hasn't really started yet. So if you're a sports fan like me, it is very challenging. So with that said,
very Christian.
Oh, sorry about that. Did I freeze?
Yeah, totally.
All right, we'll do that again. This is one of the most challenging times of the year, once again, for me. Oh, I froze again. Hold on a second.
And this is one of those things, technology and trying out new things sometimes backfires. And anyway, we'll move into
are you like in Boone or something?
Yeah. Yes, well, that's yes. I am in the mountains, in the North Carolina mountains, and the infrastructure bill has brought the internet higher to our area, and so I'm actually testing it out here at our place, and we will see how it's going to work. You may have to just look at me in a cowboy hat the whole time. We'll see, and there may be a lot of editing. So hold on a second.
I mean, it's a good-looking cowboy hat.
Well, thank you. Well, you know what? With all that said, welcome to Coffee and Pan Dulce, everyone, and let's jump directly into Barb's current events.
And this is Barb's current events.
All right, here we go. Barb's current events. Barb's current events, we have the very first one is Matt Gaetz, the wonderful I say sarcastically, wonderful congressperson from Florida, basically has told people, Matt Gaetz says Trump doesn't need women voters to get elected because now there's Julio's and Jamal's ready to vote for him. I'm going to let that sink in, and you can just answer if you understand his kind of. Anyway, all right. So that was the first one.
Jesus.
Yes. The second one is polling has come out, and even though Trump was claiming incredible victory in New Hampshire, polling has come out in New Hampshire that says that he has something to be concerned about because he did not do well with independent voters and college-educated voters. And that is the people, my understanding is, that did not vote for him in 2020. And then the last one is, and I stole this from Jenny's show early this morning that we taped, and this is especially for Dr. B. The Swift, are they called the Swifties? Is that what it's called, Jenny? The Swifties.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So the Swifties apparently have caused the ire of MAGA people, and they are highly upset that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl, and they are threatening all kinds of stuff. But this is what I think is interesting about the Swifties. They did something that the FBI and law enforcement was not able to do. Apparently, there was an AI image that was being spread around about Taylor Swift. It was I didn't see it. I don't know anything about it, but she was threatening to sue. She was obviously, it wasn't her. The Swifties in 2 days did like the back reverse engineering, and they found out who this person was who started it. He was from Canada, and he was kind of like an internet troll. And they actually located him, and he had to block his internet. He had to block all kind. They docked him, or is that dox him? Is that what they call it, Jenny? And so, anywho, they are the most incredible investigators because they found out who this person was. So I think they're incredible. So we're going to start with you, Jen, and then we'll go around the Brady Bunch screen and tell us what you think. All right, go ahead, Jen.
Well, and Travis Kelsey, the Kansas City. Yeah, I've already started. With Travis and Taylor, I think their biggest fear is that maybe NFL fans will start being Taylor Swift fans, and NFL fans tend to be older and more traditional and more conservative. I guess. I don't know. I don't watch football. But Taylor Swift is so big. She's going to motivate young adults to vote and to get involved and all that. And that's something that she's very passionate about. But at the end of the day, you still got to play your game too, and to try to go out of your way to hurt somebody just looks bad on you. You just look stupid. As far as Matt Gaetz is concerned, he, whoever his campaign manager is needs to buy this guy some duct tape to put over his mouth, because to say something so blatantly racist and insulting and misogynistic, Trump doesn't need women. Yeah. Well, first of all, maybe your policy should be better. Maybe, I don't know, don't ban abortion, don't ban birth control, give back people's body autonomy that actually belongs to them. I don't know, kooky things like that. Maybe, maybe that will help you win some elections. Just a thought, especially being from Florida and being the home to modern day fascism. Mm-hmm. We'll go out on a limb there. I don't even remember what the third topic was.
polling.
Polling.
Yes, independent.
Polling in New Hampshire.
College educated. Yep.
Well, I mean, that's kind of a duh topic. I mean, college educated people probably are not going to like Trump. I mean, that was that way in 2016 too. I mean, you know, the Republican Party has situated their messaging around hair on fire, non-existent issues, trans people in bathrooms, Taylor Swift, fake border crises that don't exist. But let's not talk about the world being on fire, war, 1 out of 6 kids going hungry in this country when we have people worth $100 billion. But we want to, that school lunch debt even exists? That even fucking exists. But we got guys that have enough spare money and resources to buy a $44 billion company for shit.
But it was not even worth $44 billion. It was only worth $9. So Elon bought Twitter $44 billion, but it isn't worth $44 billion. It was only valued $19 billion, and that was like a high guess estimate.
Yeah, at best. It goes to show what our culture has de-evolved into, that you have supposedly really smart people, and I put quotes around, but are we that smart of a society? Are we really? We have money, but we don't have wisdom. American culture, to even allow school debt, to even allow or kill a program like the weekend food programs, for states to opt out of that, even though there's federal money there, they don't have to pay for it. But to see states opt out of that, Republican-controlled states, because they don't want to have kids have food on the weekends, so they'd rather them come into school on Monday morning starving, and hey, ready to learn. We'll starve some fucking kids because that'll teach them how to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. That's just America right there. In a nutshell, it's just abundant and all, and it is ridiculous. Let's start some fucking kids. It makes perfect sense to me to harass trans people, deny women their reproductive rights, and starve kids. So yeah, fuck yeah. Sick of it. Who wants to go next?
Yeah. Let's go. Yarince or Dr. B. Any of you guys want to touch any of those three?
Thank you. You're inside.
with the Taylor Swift thing, so what happened was on Twitter, I didn't know they found the guy, which I mean, Taylor Swift has like 1 billion fans. If you have 1 billion people looking for you, you're gonna be found. But some douchebag decided to make AI porn made out of Taylor Swift, which this been going on ever since AI image generation has been happening. It just happened to someone as big as Taylor Swift. And that pisses me off because it affected her. Now they're actually saying we should do something about it. They should have done that the very first time. This is an actual issue. Children, people, anyone can get their face from just a 2-second video and bam, put on a porn video and your life is ruined. It should have been stopped the second the first video was uploaded. It should have been thought the second they started making the AI. This is why they have ethics classes in computer science. Because if you make an AI like this, you should have thought someone's going to make porn out of this and they are going to abuse it. But our laws are so slow and outdated when it comes to technology. It's just that like we barely made it to a stage where we have laws for porn, revenge porn, and not all states have that. Now we have AI porn, and then no one will be able to do anything to the guy unless you can shame him and make him into a pariah. But there won't be that many legal consequences because there's no laws on the book saying. But you're in,
Rinse, let me ask you this. As you say, this didn't just kind of start last week. But when I hear about, a porn thing from Chelsea Clinton, it's like, no, that's not right. She wouldn't do it. So it's fake going in. Everybody, I can't imagine there's a soul on earth with the IQ over 30 who believed for a nanosecond that Taylor Swift really made a porn video. So it's almost kind of like, is this really that big a deal since it's so patently, absurdly false? And I understand you got to do something about it, but I'm wondering how much real. I'm all for shutting this down, of course, but in reality, is there that much real kind of harm done? It's like all the we've seen these fake things, where they put Trump's face on Superman. So all this fake imagery, I think people have already discounted it.
I think I know where Yarince is going. Here's the danger. What if next time it's a video of Taylor Swift choking somebody out? What if it's Taylor Swift robbing a bank? What if it's...
No, the thing is, I don't care about Taylor Swift. I am indifferent to her. I do not care about this. This AI thing is like the fappening a few years when there was a bunch of leaked sexual pics and stuff like that. They're famous. They have money. They're protected. I'm talking about the kids in school who one bully takes a picture of them and spreads out the child porn in their school of their face. And half the kids are dumb enough to fall for it and will continually call that girl horrible names. I'm talking about the nameless college student at college who got who a porn video came out of her and she never done it, but it makes her such a pariah that she's harassed by a bunch of random creepy incels, or her loved ones or family just decided to drop her because they don't have the media literacy to do it. It isn't about the famous people. It's about the people like me and you, because I don't have the money to stop that. I don't have the money to get that. If there's a video of me right now out there and stuff like that, I'm a guy, so I can handle it. But for women, ruined. Yeah. Absolutely ruined. Loses jobs, can't work in certain industries, everything like that. That's why this is a big issue. Taylor Swift, she'll just get $1 billion in the next year and she'll be fine. Yeah. Perfect. Good point. But it pisses me off that no one thought about us until Taylor Swift got affected. That's the annoying part.
Well, and people have gone to prison for less. Like, we've seen so many people spend prison time because of faked evidence and all that. Yeah. Where does this stop? And when you're doing deep fakes with the technology that I've seen working in AI, there needs to be tighter regulations on what you can and cannot create, and gateways and things. The technology to create it also provides the technology to stop it.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, listen. Only because I want to jump into the topic. Yarince, do you have any comments on the Matt Gaetz? What he said are Trump's polling?
Okay, like Matt Gaetz, racist, as Jenny said, racism and misogyny and just stupidity all the way. Because one, Trump won in 2016, big part because of evangelical white women. Like, they were a huge voter bloc that propped up Trump, did all the campaigning, did all the things. Like, a lot of them just looked at him and thought he was a messiah and decided this is the guy they want to back. He got there because of white evangelical women. So if you're going to discredit all of them, maybe they have a horrible self-esteem that they might accept it. But I think some of them, if they're willing to go out in public and say the most disgusting things possible, my idea. And even if he's not a racist, a lot of racist and white supremacists really like him. Yeah. So if my black ass shows up at a Trump rally, I'm going to be harassed by black, gay conservatives at a Republican rally. He was being booed, yelled at, and thrown slurs and stuff like that by all the white supremacists right there. And he's like, why are you doing this? I'm on your same side. I'm like, because of you. They hate you. You are the epitome of their hate. Why would you side with them when they hate you? A lot of It's just like that.
No, you bring a topic, you bring a conversation that Jenny and I have been talking about since I have known Jenny, is we are completely how anyone who is part of the group that Trump constantly hates on would sit there and just go, oh, it's not me they're talking about, it's the other people. No, it's you, boo. You're the one they're talking about. So real quickly, Dr. B, you want to comment on any of those three before we take our first break?
I'm going to basically ignore polling because it's, you know, you can always find a poll you want. And I'm going to ignore Matt Gaetz because he doesn't deserve any kind of thought time. But the other, my word for the week, first of all, I hate the word unprecedented, right? That's been so abused for the last year or two. Everything's unprecedented. But my word I'm going to abuse this week is schadenfreude. And that's kind of enjoyment of other people's misery. And, you know, watching the Trump thing with $83 million that God willing. And then the other recipient of my schadenfreude is the Republicans with all this Taylor Swift meltdown. I mean, it's just got themselves in this complete twist. It's so absurd that they're coming up with these conspiracy theories that I would think would even challenge the mind of the craziest MAGA person to kind of follow it. Now, exactly how is this supposed to work? But I do understand, kind of like anti-vaxxers, that conspiracy theorists don't require logic and rational explanation of things, or they wouldn't have conspiracy theories. But anyway, to keep it short, I'm trying to minimize my enjoyment of other people's misfortune, because I know that's not a very honorable
what's the word you said? What is
Schadenfreude? Schadenfreude, yeah. Schadenfreude. It's an old German term or something.
That sounds like a beer from New Braunfels area.
Well, it does. It kind of sounds like Jägermeister. Yeah,
exactly. So,
if someone chokes on a Jägermeister and you laugh at them, that would be Schadenfreude.
Yes, exactly. Well, listen, thank you, and I also want to thank all of y'all because we are having some technical difficulties, and I appreciate your point of view. So I will have to do some editing here, but I want to thank our listeners and viewers as well. And we'll be right back on Coffee and Pandulce right after this.
Hey y'all, thanks for watching and support our local black and brown businesses, including our sponsor, Manolo Bakery. That has some fabulous pastries, food, king cakes, all kinds of specialty cakes, swallows, and much, much more. Some of the best food you eat in Charlotte, North Carolina. Again, Manolo's Bakery, right here in East Charlotte. Thanks for watching.
Hey y'all, thanks for watching the Florida shows. They've been wildly successful. Obviously, it's a topic that you guys have enjoyed and wanted to know more of. And we like talking about the dumpster fire that used to be the state of Florida. And we'll probably talk about it some more this summer. Thanks for watching, y'all.
Bye, y'all. Thanks for watching. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for watching our Coffee and Pandulce show every week. Don't forget, you can watch us visually on our video podcast platforms on Facebook and YouTube, but you can also listen to us on your favorite audio podcast platforms like Apple, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and all of the other ones that your favorite, whatever your favorite is. Once again, thank you for watching us on Coffee and Pandulce. We'll dance out.
Well, welcome back, everyone. Thank you for joining us on Coffee and Pandulce. Great conversation with the Matt's current events. And I just realized I've got my really crazy cheaters on, so they're blocking my beautiful brown eyes. So if you can't see my eyes if you're watching, I apologize. I was trying to do this Anderson Cooper look, but I don't have.
You need to dye your hair.
Exactly. Yeah, I need to dye my hair. All right. So today's topic is Anti-Vaxxers Mentally Ill. There was a study that came out, and I believe it was from Britain, and they were comparing anti-vaxxers to evangelicals. I don't know why, but that's what they were doing. And apparently what they were suggesting is, and I apologize because in order for me to switch screens, I'm going to have to drop some people off here. They said
Can you repeat? Sorry.
Yes. All right, so welcome back, everyone. I'm so sorry I'm having so many technical difficulties. So apparently the study that has been coming out is suggesting that many of the anti-vaxxers, not all of them, but many of the anti-vaxxers may be suffering from a social disorder. And I don't remember the actual term, but there's a social disorder, and there's also 2 studies that have come out suggesting the same thing. So before I stick my foot in my mouth, I'm going to jump to Dr. B. And I know this is a loaded question, but have you, I don't even know how to approach this topic without, I'm trying to be polite here. Are anti-vaxxers cray-cray, or what's going on? I guess that's the easiest way for me to ask it.
Well, no, that's great. And, we all have our opinions. We all react to these things that we've kind of heard over the last few years about this. But as I've said many times on your show, I try to take a long view of history. And we all know that there have been these groups that have resisted. Jenner first came out with the smallpox vaccination 200 years ago. And I was trying to find this article that you mentioned, so I Googled and found several. And on the most superficial, obviously there's a spectrum, right? From people who are just a little suspicious and question it to the ones who may be mentally affected. But they seem to almost kind of come in 3 groups. And one group, it just kind of has a fear of needles and medical things and stuff like that. And so they don't want it just for that general purpose. Another one doesn't trust government. We have the whole thing with the Tuskegee syphilis experiments and as a result that a lot of the Black community doesn't trust government with health issues, understandably. And then we have that whole, group of kind of don't tell me what to do kind of thing. And then you do have a group that are kind of out there that probably are crazy. And the exemplar of that, and evidently in Italy, in the middle of the pandemic, there was some guy that according to his family and whatnot, was pretty well adjusted and had friends and had a social life. But he just really got so worked up that he wrote a suicide note, and it said, better to be, dead and free than alive and living under tyranny or something. He laid in front of a train and literally was cut to pieces. So that ain't right. That's not just kind of a little protest against an idea. That is mental illness. And so, of course, there are going to be a bunch of folks that have his same mindset, but don't quite go to that extreme. And so I think you can be comfortable saying that there are a group of people in the anti-vax community who probably have mental issues. And then maybe kind of closer towards the center are these with kind of a social identity that we tend to associate a lot with conservatives. The government can't tell me what to do. I don't trust the government. There's cover up. Fauci's terrible. Oh Lord, I read something that Rand Paul wrote the other day in a conservative publication. It's like, you really believe that? My reaction to that was 20 years from now, who's going to know who Rand Paul was? But there's going to be statues and monuments to Anthony Fauci, I guarantee. So that's my take on it, that there is a spectrum with definitely some mentally ill people on one end, and then some reasonable people. And the next question, of course, is what do you do about it? How do you approach them? And the thing that seemed to be most consistent was they don't respond to facts. You can't sit there and educate them out of this. But they say you have to try to approach it kind of from where they are. For example, and I'll stop, but they said the people who just fear needles, all the health, I hate going to the doctor, it's terrible. That if you say, I understand, I don't like that too, but the alternative is that if you get sick, you're going to see needles like you've never seen before and really be in a lot of misery and a health thing. So how about we just minimize this whole needle disgust and fear with a little 2-second injection, and that maybe if you approach it from being empathetic with their concerns, that maybe you have an opening. But just kind of sit there and say, oh, here are the facts. So they don't care about that. That this goes kind of beyond facts. So that's kind of my general take on it.
Well, and there's a lot of truth to that. So the lady that was going to come on, the nurse, when she first got into the conspiracy theories and became anti-vax, was when her firstborn child was very, very small, about 2 or 3 months old, and they got their first set of inoculations that babies get. And the baby was fussy and all that. And she called up to the office and said, hey, we just got these vaccinations and my baby's not reacting to this. And the RN that answered the call was very dismissive of her, very patronizing. Mm-hmm. And you got a first-time mom, very young, in her early 20s, already scared. She's got this baby that's just screaming at the top of their lungs, and the baby can't say what's wrong. It's a baby. And I've been there when my kids were small and they were losing their minds, and you're just like, okay, let's just make it stop. And so you're not in a great state of mind. So she started Googling vaccines, went on YouTube, and then found this local anti-vax group. And it was a group of moms. So it was a group of peers. Some of the things they were saying started to make sense, mm-hmm. especially in a position when you are already, it's probably not your best and most logical. And she got sucked in. And what brought her out of the anti-vax was COVID, obviously, and just the tremendous amount of loss. And she was petrified that her kids would get COVID or she'd get COVID or whatever. And long story short, not only did she become a pro-vaxxer, she went back to school and got her nursing certificate and all that. And so you're exactly right. A lot of the people that get sucked into these conspiracy theories, whether it's anti-vax, flat earth, stuff like this, usually they've hit a moment of stress. And anybody that's distressed, they're not going to be at their best. And because there's so much misinformation out there, I mean, the internet's a wonderful thing when it's being used for good, but not everybody has the best intentions. And you know, just like the deep fakes and things like that. And so we have to remember that we have to be mindful of what we say. I even have to be mindful of what I say, because hurt people will hurt people. I think a lot of it comes not from a space of evil. I think most anti-vax people are just scared people. And I'll use a case in point. A really well-known performer friend of mine posted something on her Facebook, and this was back when we were in 2021, when we were all deciding whether we wanted a COVID vaccine or not. And she posted it, and then I answered something on her Facebook, and then she messaged me because we are really good friends, and she said, so what do you think of the vaccine? And I'd already received both of my vax by this point in time in 2021. I said, I'm going to tell you what I did. And I'm going to tell you what, don't trust me. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an RN. I have no medical training whatsoever. I'm a jackass with a podcast. But also don't listen to the other side with the jackasses with the podcast. There's two people you should listen to on this deal. You should go to your local pharmacy or whoever you use for your HRT. And pharmacists will geek out. They have these little free consultant windows. Go talk to them, ask them questions. They're going to love you for it. They're experts in medication. Mm-hmm. They're also experts in vaccines. They can give you the clinical background and recommendation. You should make an informed decision. Just like when you chose to go on HRT, you got informed consent. This is the same thing. There is no difference. Know the facts, but from a professional, not from a YouTuber, not from a podcaster, not from me. Don't listen to me. Clear your head and think, who's your personal physician that's helping you transition, and or a pharmacist. And you can pick any pharmacy. Yeah. Every pharmacy in the world has a consultation window.
Sure.
And I think when we give people a little bit of grace, and I do like to make fun of anti-vaxxers, and some of them are easy to make fun of, but there is millions of people that were caught in the middle
that were scared of this deadly virus that was killing sometimes up to 3,000 or 4,000 people a day in this country.
Mm-hmm.
And people saying the vaccine itself was harmful. And somewhere in the middle is where the truth was.
Jenny, and it's interesting to hear what you're saying. And for those who have been watching the show for a while, as what Jenny mentioned 2 years ago, and I apologize because I think we were having technical difficulties when I said this earlier, but I'll repeat it. Some of the ladies from Back to Vax is the name of the organization. And they are two ladies who were former anti-vaxxers, as Jenny said, and they were on our show about 2 years ago during the COVID pandemic, and we had a great conversation, and that's kind of what Jenny is mentioning. And I have this theory about these anti-vaxxers, but before I share this, I'm going to jump to Yarince, then we'll take our second break. Yarince, what are your thoughts about the anti-vaxxers? And I'm trying to be a little funny about it because I don't know how else to say it, but are anti-vaxxers in your generation, do y'all have any thoughts on anti-vaxxers since you speak for your entire generation?
I don't know my entire generation. Sure, Most of the people who I am friends with that are in my generation, best friends and stuff, they got their vaccines. They got their COVID vaccines. They went to the drives. I even invited them to some when I was working at Cano Health Center. I invited some of my friends to go to our vaccine drive so they can get their COVID vaccine and stuff like that. And I got mine as well. A lot of things. The thing is, obviously, there will be some people like Gen Z, not a monolith as well. It's like there's billions of us, and we all have different thoughts and ideas and stuff like that. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's some anti-vaxxers Gen Z, because if a Gen Z can fall for Trump, if a Gen Z can fall for conservative influencers, if a Gen Z can fall for like any of the crazy crackpot conspiracy theories out there, they're going to be there. And it's worse for them because a lot of us Gen Zers, whenever people do stupid things or do really crappy or believe in crappy beliefs, we go hard in destroying them. Like, we call them out, we call them names, we tell them you are a dumb idiot for believing this, and then say facts and stuff like that. And as Dr. B said, like, they don't want to hear facts. You want to have empathy. Yep. We're tapped out of empathy with all the bull crap we have. Okay. So if you're going to say stupid shit, we're going to lose our shit. That's how it is, because growing up with adults that just like, these are the adults, but we're smarter and more mature than them. Sure. It's kind of hard to have that like energy to be nice to someone who is in your same generation, who grew up with you, have the same information, have access to the internet and everything like that, and believe in the same stupid things like baby boomers, grandpas who don't know how to go through the internet, believe it. Like, it's hard for me to have that empathy, and it's hard for a lot of us to have that empathy, but luckily there's some few, luckily some people who are just nice and stuff like that. And as Dr. B said, we have to be nice. As much as it pains me, we still have to be nice and respectful, even though it's a stupid idea. But if we want them to be safe and to keep everybody safe, because the vaccine, it works when everyone is vaccinated, so everyone doesn't get it. And those who couldn't get the vaccine because of their sicknesses are protected by us. Yeah. Then it's good. And we need them to join us, because if they don't, then one day there's going to be another pandemic. And if this stupidity continues, I don't know. Either there's going to be some crazy people trying to overthrow a government like they did in, what state was it when they overthrown the governor's like place? I can't remember. But during COVID, when a bunch of MAGA people went out, Michigan. They went to the Capitol to overturn it because of the vaccine mandates. I'm like, just take the jab. You're not going to die.
Yeah. Listen, I wish you could see me, because you could see me smiling big time. Listen, we're going to take our second break, and actually, this is probably our third break. So we'll take our second and our third break. But if you like what you're hearing on this show, Jenny does have a show that drops 30 minutes after this show. It's called Two Careers in a Truck. It drops every Wednesday at 11:30. Please watch that show. And this last break, we'll talk about that show. We'll be right back on Coffee and Pan Dulce right after this.
Hey guys, I've got a special product out, and we've got a store under the name blueapplytech.com, and you can go on our Etsy store, you can go on our social media, and you can check out our merchandise. We have some amazing snowflake Trump mugshot ornaments. We have mugs, we have pillow covers, we have a lot of cute stuff for the holiday season that you can buy. And it's great fun, and it goes to a good cause. It goes to my company, and it's helping us out getting started. And also, who doesn't want a historic snowflake Trump ornament?
Exactly.
This year.
That's funny. What's the name of it again?
And the name of the company is Blue, like the color blue, applied APPLIED Tech. Like technology.
Blue Applied Tech. Ah, cool.
And so you can look us up. We have a website, but our store's on Etsy, and a lot of people use Etsy for different types of gifts. They are assembled in the United States, so it creates American jobs, and most of all, it's a lot of fun, and they're not expensive.
Cool.
So,
Blue Applied Tech. Got it.
Correct. Come seek us out and buy some gifts.
Cool.
Up next is Two Queers in a Truck with Jenny and Christian. And hope you guys tune in. We'll see you in about 15 to 20 minutes. Thank you. Bye.
Welcome back, everyone. So listen, I have this theory, and it is, one of my theories. And I'd be interested to hear what you have to say, Jenny, and also you, Yarince, and Dr. B. So, I have been saying for a long time that my generation, the Generation X generation, is there's some things that we have done well, but there are more things that we have not done well. And I think, and because we have done more not good things than good things, we're just an angry, bitter generation. And we don't like the generation before us, and we don't like the generations beneath us. And we are just in this, they've done, the New York Times did a story on our generation. It was called the Forgotten Generation. That was the story they did on the Gen Xers. And it seems like the bulk of the anti-vaxxers, the bulk of the MAGA people, the bulk of evangelical Christians, they are in the Gen X generation. And they are a generation that, I don't know, when they do the studies 10, 20 years from now about our generation, we didn't grow up with internet, but we grew up with internet. That wasn't our whole life. It didn't come into our lives until we turned, 30s and 40s. Whereas the millennials and the Gen Xers, Gen Zers, baby Zs, have had it their whole life. So we think we're smart. We're really not that smart. And and so it is. There's a bunch of things that make no logical sense that some of my people in my generation say.
You cut out a little bit.
Sure. And so that's the reason I'm wondering if. The reason I'm wondering. Oh, did I drop?
Yes, a little bit.
Yep, yeah.
Oh,
your last statement. Yeah.
Okay, so that's the reason I'm wondering if all of the. Jenny has a saying. All of the what's your saying, Jenny? All of the craziness and anyway, all of the chaos and the craziness seems to come from the Gen Xers. When you look on social media, when you look at the people talking, all you have to do is look at their generation, and it's not really the boomers. There are some, like Trump, but the majority of them are the Gen Xers. And I look at them and I go, what caused you to be like this? And I'm wondering if this is something that we all just have to kind of hold our nose, because in the next, 5-6 years, we will be in such the minority that it wouldn't make any difference, our craziness. And so, I have this feeling that we only have to tolerate us for another 4 to 5 years, and then those days are over. So, Jenny,
you're still having to put up with me. I'm a generation or two ahead of you.
It is generational in some respects, but I also think too, And I've noticed this with the MAGAs that I've had conversations with especially the anti-trans, the anti-LGBT groups, is they don't know what they're fearing. And I'm talking about the everyday person. I'm talking about the irrational, person on Twitter that says something on our page or my page or whatever. The majority of them, because he was a wounded warrior from World War One, the more he noticed other people were like following, hey, let's follow this guy. And it's how a lot of movements start, both belong to something. There's a sense we're social creatures. We're social by our programming, that we like to be around people. And I think that was one of the big hurts of the pandemic, and probably maybe why that Italian guy, killed himself by getting run over by a train, which was a really bad way of doing it. If you're going to do it, find a way just to go to sleep forever. But anyway, I think in times of crisis, when you're seeing the whole world come apart like we had in COVID, and the mass hysteria and the mythos that comes around the pandemic, just like with the AIDS crisis, when Christian and I were teenagers, the HIV and AIDS was hitting primarily the gay population, and just the pandemic of that, and just the fear mongering of that, and you can get AIDS from a toothbrush or whatever. And there were so many misconceptions. You can't shake the hand of a gay man because you'll get HIV. And just crazy stuff like that. And COVID was that same way. People were panicking when they just need to really sit down and maybe, call their doctor or just spend a little time and just really pull themselves together. And so they found themselves in two camps. Either let's fight this thing with masks and social distancing and eventually the vaccine when it came out in 2021, or fuck the government, it's the government's fault, they're the ones that created it. Fauci created it in a Wuhan, China. They want to be with their peers. It's just like all of us. We have our friend groups. We have people that are probably similar to us, maybe in age or hobbies or whatever. And I can understand why somebody would join a vaccine group, even though it doesn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense to my dad. It didn't make sense to my family. I can understand people's sense of belonging. And I think that's where we break down disinformation, no matter what it is. Whether when I've done TED Talks to groups wanting to know more about the transgender community, I always take it from a standpoint, I am the first trans person they've actually ever had a conversation with, that they know of. And I take it from the real basics. I mean, just the baseline of humanity. And something I learned in sales a long time ago, people will buy your product if they believe your product's real and that you're real. And you're coming from a space of genuine caring and where you earn that trust. Just because I know I'm trans and I know that I'm going through a medical transition, a psychological transition, and this is my truth, does not mean that person has not read 100 crazy articles on Reddit or has seen something unhinged on one of the many social medias or something like that from a trans person, because not all of us are same. Sure. Just like any demographic.
Yeah, but you know what, Jenny? This is, and I'm curious what Yarince, well, I completely agree with you, Jenny. I have a question for Dr. B and Yarince. Dr. B, your generation, I think, is a little different than the Gen Xers because the social media didn't really come into your existence probably until you were way into your adulthood. And so it wasn't something that, let's say, in your 30s or 40s that you kind of suddenly wanted to be a TikTok a TikTok king or whatever queen, because you were way into your adult, you were into maturity. The Gen Xers, it came into our existence when we were coming out of young adulthood, going into maturity, and there was still this belief that maybe I could be a TikTok, a social media sensation one day. And so it seems like that some of the Gen Xers still think that they can relive their youth through social media. And I'm curious, Yarince, when you see the Gen Xers that are like that, how does that make you feel? That question. Did you get that question?
The thing is, like, yes.
Okay.
So truthfully, I use TikTok, I use Reddit. I sometimes, if I want to punish myself, go through Twitter. And Instagram, I barely am on it, but I have an account and I just look at what my friends and family are doing. Truthfully, I don't care what generation you are. Use their skills in like engineering, doctors, lawyers, friends. It's good. And there's just like that. Thing is just that with all those good people using social media to show off their passion, and it just depends. Like, I don't care about your generation. I care more about your content. If your content is good, educational, like you're trying to show your passion and love of something, perfect. If your content is just you screaming and yelling and spreading conspiracy,
And this is the Pendejo Chronicles.
hate me. See, you built with a bunch of parents just complaining, why don't my kids talk to me anymore? When they talk about how they kept on crossing their boundaries, how they kept on babying them and mistreating them when they're adults, when they kept on, when they were abusive and horrible when they were kids, or when they were just saying racist, homophobic, or misogynistic things. Like, why would someone want to be with you when you just mistreat them all the time?
Yeah.
And why would you post that online? I don't understand, but it happens, and I'm just disappointed in those people because there are people the same age as you who have similar professions and stuff like that, doing amazing things and showing incitement and stuff like that to everybody else, but you're here just ruining everything.
Yeah. Excellent.
I'll give my pitch. It sounds like Yarince and I might agree on this, that Christian, I think you give a little too much credit to this separation into generations. And I think, as Yarince said many times, none of them are monolithic. And, we all sit here and talk about the greatest generation that won World War II. That greatest generation is also the one that turned away Jewish refugees, that refused to enter to save England and the rest of the world from Hitler when it would have been a hell of a lot easier, and that had racism and a bunch of messiahs, so there's really not a greatest generation. Things happen. History changes things. But like Yarince, I agree that there's good and bad people throughout. And the internet, and you talk about all these people wanting to be influencers. I thought I was going to be a rock star when I was 18. I mean, that was just it. And then when I went into medicine, this great discovery or something, public get carried away with it a little bit more, but I don't think it's anything new. Fortunately, I don't believe that any of my three grandsons, who are all right in the midst of that teenage angst period, are being terribly distorted by this. And so, you hear about the extremes, and there are, and the bullying, that's all terrible. But I'm not sure that we can place any kind of responsibility on a generation per se. Sure. It's just kind of as the world turns, so to speak. So,
good point. Jenny, you want to say something before we close out? Well, you are exactly right, Jenny. And I will say that I can say, and this is anecdotally. However, I have noticed in my brief years on social media that it is easier to trigger a Gen Xer on social media than it is any other generation. And it is, and if you know that, they can be manipulated very, very easily because they are very easily triggered. I've noticed, and anecdotally, that a boomer generally are just too polite to get triggered. They will look at it and go, well, that's some crazy stuff, but they won't actually respond. A millennial and a baby Z will just roll their eyes and won't even follow you anyway. They're probably not even following you. But a Gen Xer will take the energy and time to say, well, I cannot believe that this is, and it is, especially a white Gen Xer, they just feel entitled to respond to everything. And so I have noticed and so I guess what I was trying to say was that we only have to put up with us a couple of more years of that triggeredness. And that's in a way a good thing. So I guess that's what I was.
Yeah.
All right. So with that said, we're going to end our show. I want to thank y'all so much for tolerating this internet challenges that I've had. But I do want to thank the infrastructure bill that Biden passed, because this is a lot better than it would have been, let's say, 2 years ago. I wouldn't
better crappy service than no service at all, huh?
Yeah.
Exactly. So we're going to go around the Brady Bunch screen and tell us where you're going to be in 30 seconds or less. We'll start with you, Jenny.
So we're coming into February 7th, which is Black History Month. But one of the things I love saying, and I say this in non-February months as well, is support your local businesses. One of our long-time sponsors of our show, Manolo Bakery, locally owned, and your local brown and Black and brown businesses, need your business. Don't buy from Amazon. Buy from your local vendors if possible. Not only does it help the environment, but it also helps people right in your community. And entrepreneurship is one way of eliminating poverty. Buy small, buy local, and buy from your neighbors.
Excellent. Dr. B?
I'm just going to be chilling around here. My wife and I have decided we're going to take what's probably going to be our last trip to Europe. In April, we're going to go to Paris. So we've kind of been working on that. But otherwise, we're just going to be chilling here in Charlotte for a while.
Excellent. And your insight?
Most likely I'll be teaching math and doing Black History Month events, stuff like that. Try to be more, volunteer more, do some more local events, help out people outside.
Excellent. And I will be somewhere. I don't know yet. The week after this? Oh, I'll be in Georgia. All right. So I will actually be in Georgia celebrating our aunt's 90th birthday. So very, very excited. I'm going to find out her what her secret is. I think it's a bourbon a day or something. I can't remember what she told me once. So I'll be there. I want to thank everyone who's joined us, and we do hope to see Barbara next week and hope to see Mama Ruth back. Yarince, please come back whenever you have an opportunity. Dr. B, it's always great to see you. Jenny, wonderful to see you as well. We will see you next week. Next week's show, we do hope to have a school board member, a Charlotte school board member on the show. The title of the show is Are Traditional Public Schools Dead? So we will be talking about traditional public schools and is there such a thing anymore? And that's what we'll be talking about next week. So with that said, does anybody want to add anything before we try to dance out?
Just have a wonderful week.
All right. Yep. Here we go. Let's see. Is this going to work? All right. I'm going to come back just to dance.
Yay.
Bye, y'all. See you next week.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for watching Coffee Pan Dulce. And it is the month of love. It's February, and it's Black History Month. So if you can, go out and support the Black and brown local businesses, and have a safe month, and happy Valentine's.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Next up, thanks for watching Coffee Pan Dulce. Next up is Two Queers in a Truck. Stay tuned.
Coffee Pan Dulce. How's that? Coffee Pan Dulce.
Sounds
You
great.
sounded like a telenova. I mean,
I'm trying to. All I have to say is go. Yes.
as a non-Spanish speaker.
Alrighty. Here we go. Okay. Hold on, guys. We just froze. Give me 1 second.
You were off in the same space. Oh,
So,
we share.
Hey, hold on 1 second, guys. Just to let you know what just happened, the guy who works our internet here, I sent him a text message, and he just reset our system. So he thinks that's going to fix whatever the deal was. So you may have turned off and then just turned back on.
Flip your video off.
Yep. Did you hear what I said?
Nope.
Okay, I'm sorry. The guy who does our internet system here just reset the entire system, and he said and of course he said it did it while we were taping. So he said that should help, and he's going to try to, I don't know what they do, but anyway, so that's what just happened. So if we can start back from, I think Yarince, you said something about, and it wasn't worth that much.
Yes.
Okay, if we can start back from then. So go ahead whenever you're ready.
Is that we are a nation.
Yep.
Talk
All right.
back. All the black people are going to decide. Not all black people are if they're like different types of black food.
Yes, bring it on. We're waiting, New York say we're taping it.
Okay, sorry, y'all. I think we're going to, obviously, I'm going to be able to edit it, but there was a section, Yarince, that came off that I think I missed that was very important, and I don't remember what section it is, so I can't ask you to repeat it because I didn't know what you said. So I will do my best. I think I'm freezing there now. Is that right?
Hey, can you hear us?
Yep, I'm back. All right, I guess coming to the mountains is not going to work on Wednesdays, but okay. We'll see how this comes out again. Hold on 1 second. Tell me when you guys, Jenny, I'm going to make you host. Okay. Hold on.
If you can.
Yeah. I can. Make you host. There you go, Jen. Are you there?
Hello.
Okay. So you're host now, Jen. I'm still. I'm still. I think you're muted though, but.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. So I'm still recording. So everything will be recorded here. So you're host. So basically, when we go to intermission and stuff, if I somehow I have to get you to bring me back, you can do it from yours, right?
Yeah.
Again. Okay. All right. So we're going to come back, and hopefully this will work a little bit better. I apologize, y'all. Okay, here we go. Did I break up there? Yep. Tell me when I'm back.
Christian, you're going to turn your video off.
Yeah.
Oh, you're back.
We can hear you.
Okay, sorry. All right, so Jenny, I'm going to let you go ahead and just kind of take over.
Okay.
And we just need a second break, and then whenever you have a chance, and then a third break, and then.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Well, when you don't have your video on, just so you know, and you're just doing audio, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the moment you put the video, you try to do audio and video, you freeze.
Okay. All right. That's what Dr. B was kind of suggesting I do, and I keep trying to sneak it in, and it keeps ruining it. So I'm just going to leave it off.
It's not going to happen.
Okay. So we're going to come back. Here we go. Hey, actually, it works better when I don't. As y'all told me, when I'm but anyway. Right, I don't want to say I told you so. And and so
no, we told you so.
Yes, I wish. Yeah, and so I wish you could see this, because I'm actually texting on my phone and trying to type on the computer with the owners of the place here, plus the internet technical support, and he keeps saying, can you unplug your router? Can you do this? You know how tech support people tell you to do? And, it's like them saying, did you unplug your computer? Did you restart it? I'm like, I'm in the middle of taping. I can't do it all. And so anyway, right, here we go. We're coming back.
Don't really they don't even what example. They just the Paul makers. There's the Matt Gateses. There's the Donald Trumps. There's the people that are creating the mess, all of these tanks and things of that nature. Those are the ones that are poisoning the water. So they're the ones putting out there for these mass conspiracy theories and things.
So if you ever patches it together.
But I think long story short I think the mass people that fall into anti-vaxxer MAGA groups around them people Nazis lab and we're we don't want that to the side. I think mass steroids or pandemic safety numbers.
Did I just freeze y'all again? Can y'all hear me?
And so we have to meet people where they're
at. In the beginning, now you're clearing out.
Okay, so yeah. Can y'all hear me?
No, we don't hear nothing.
Okay, y'all. We're gonna.
Yes.
I apologize, y'all. Obviously, I'm gonna do a lot of editing, and I will make y'all look good. I'm just gonna ask one more question. Then we're gonna close out because I don't want to waste y'all's time, and this is very frustrating, I'm sure, to all of y'all, especially me. Okay, so here's the question. We're gonna come back.
A lot of people don't. There's a lot of good. There's I think like an older gentleman. Sniper They're who use their skills in like engineering, doctors, lawyers, friends. It's good. And there's just like that. Oh. It's just it's annoying whenever you just come across like them old past scripts was what $50,000. Now it's the average is what $200,000-$300,000. Just being all around douchebag, just spreading.
It's like, well, I'm gonna be, you know, because I'm gonna do some.
And I think, you know, the old saying, let the buyer beware, I think there's a certain amount of people that how they choose their social media platforms is based on their personal taste. You know, like some people prefer TikTok. I've got friends that almost, if they're going to get on social media, it's almost exclusively TikTok because there's so many entertaining things on there. And you can just constantly scroll and see a little bit of everything. Honestly, it's a hodgepodge. That's what makes TikTok so fun. And because it's so visual and it's so, I think people love to see video. I think people love to see people doing funny things, you know, and there's also a lot of good information out there.
Sure.
There's no such thing as all bad or all good.
Yeah.
There's polarization of thought that it has to be all good or all bad to be valid. There's always going to be shades in between.
Sure.
Just like people.
Well,
there's not a monolith skin tone. There's not a monolith of eye colors, physical traits. Nature in the world is the universe is important. That's the we're coming up to February 7th in the show. A lot of good things happening in February, obviously.
Hey, Jen, hold on 1 second. I don't know if it's just me. I'm going to have to edit this, but you sound muffled.
Yeah, you came in and out a second ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I did? Okay.
Move your Bluetooth in your ear just a second. Okay, now try it.
I thought I was the only one that happened to.
No, I okay, say it again.
All right.
Coffee Pan Dulce. How's that? Coffee Pan Dulce.